We welcome you live to the iCar Pro Series, season number 4 race from Indianapolis, season number 2 race from Indianapolis Raceway Park. And cars are on the racetrack here for qualifying at IRP. The first time ever the NASCAR iRacing FedEx League is here at Indianapolis Raceway Park, and of course it also kicks off tonight with the iCar Pro Series on Tuesday. As Matthew White, your winner at Watkins Glen last week here in iCar, heads into 1 and 2. So, of course, it's the second race of the iCar season. Like I said, Watkins Glen was last week. And Matthew is going to go back-to-back as qualifying is underway. Here's Cameron Chandler, the line, and back into 1 and 2. So, of course, 100 laps here around iCar at Indianapolis Raceway Park. This is also, of course, Indianapolis week for the NASCAR iRacing FedEx League. Also, really interesting thing here. I think it might be the only track or only area we do this at like only week. We do this at as Hunsaker and White are tied for time top of the board as Chandler is now across it. He will go third. Braden Hunsaker on provisional pole. Like I was saying, I think this is the only place we do this at Indianapolis. We of course go to IRP for tonight's iCar race, and then tomorrow night for the Truck Series, and then of course on Thursday night we have the NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series race, but that's at the Brickyard Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the Brickyard 400. So 2 different racetracks, but in the same area of Indianapolis this week. Of course, no Xfinity as DeFilippi is 4th. Braden Hunsaker, good lap for him so far on provisional pole. Here's Payson Lindsay in that 99. Of course, it's Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park, the full name of this racetrack. It's got 2 races for this week, of course, like I said, as Lindsay goes to 4th on the board. Like I said, tonight here for the iCar Pro Series, and then tomorrow night for the Truck Series, the NASCAR iRacing FedEx Truck Series, their 4th race, the triple of the 5-race challenge. And then, of course, the Cup Series is on track for the 4th ever season number 4 Cup Series Brickyard 400 at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. As Benton is 4th. Or, I'm sorry, Lindsay is 4th. Still yet to go. Bryce Benton and Donovan Hogan. 2 minutes left here is on provisional pole is Braden Hunsaker. Of course, got to talk about Bryce Benton. Was suspended from the NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series and Truck Series for this week after his actions in the Cup race at Watkins Glen last week. What an insane race that was. So he will not be competing in this season's Brickyard 400 or the Truck Series race coming up tomorrow. So this is going to be his only race of the week. And here he goes down the front straightaway in that 9. Was battling for some good points there inside the top 3 points of the Cup Series, but will most likely fall to 5th now, even with the points penalty as well in the point standings for Cup. So Watkins Glen really did not do him good. He didn't even finish well there either. After getting into multiple incidents and making that race basically by himself, just pure chaos. As Benton across the line, he's 4th. That should probably just about do it. Hogan is yet to run. I don't think he's going to qualify. So Braden Hunsaker ties with Matthew White. What a... we got to talk about this more. 21.897 to a 21.897. Exactly the same lap time. Top of the board between those two. That is incredible. Of course, I think Hunsaker, he put his time down first, so he gets the pole. That is insane between Matthew White and Braden Hunsaker. Unfortunately, only 7 cars in this race, but going to make do with what we have. We got about 30 seconds to go. Ready to get underway in IRP. For the first time ever in the NASCAR iRacing FedEx League. Of course, tonight we have the iCar Pro Series, and tomorrow night is the NASCAR iRacing FedEx Truck Series. With just 2 races to go in the 5-race challenge this season, we're over halfway. And the series has the IRP tomorrow night. All right. As the sun has came out, we welcome you live to Indianapolis Raceway Park. Or, forgot about this. For some reason, iCar has a warm-up session first. I don't really know why. So we have a half-hour warm-up session. For some reason, we have a 5-minute warm-up session in between qualifying and the race, which doesn't really make sense to me. But so what's an iCar? It's obviously not in the other NASCAR iRacing FedEx League series. Of course, another new thing to announce is the Instagram is back for the NASCAR iRacing FedEx League. It's actually called the NASCAR iRacing FCS League to avoid any issues. As they race side by side here in a 1 and 2. It's a bit of a taste of what you're going to get. So qualifying is complete, of course. Just got some warm-up action going on for some reason. Big slide job, Matthew White on Braden Hunsaker. Hunsaker's going to cross him over, as these are going to be top 2 in the race, so getting a little bit of a taste of what we're going to see. Big slide job again, man, as crossing over is that 16 of Hunsaker. Back to the inside, he slides around as they head down the back straight. Of course, the College League Instagram just was created yesterday, and we're trying to regain our followers. Of course, the last few weeks is on my actual personal account, so luckily we're off that for now, but unfortunately we're having some issues being able to schedule posts. So, as Lindsay goes around because it's a new account, so we may have to take it off for maybe a week or so if things don't get fixed by tomorrow. Big wreck here, but it will be for the long term okay, and we'll have the Instagram back. This here is the 9 of Bryce Benton through 1 and 2. So about 3 minutes to go, still in this weird warm-up session, of course, that we, for some reason, have tonight. Ask Cameron Chandler why we have it. I don't really know. All right, so the 9 of Benton going to go hard on the wall here in the back straightaway. 3 cars over here on track now. Still about 2 minutes to go in the second warm-up session. Of course, this, like I said, Indianapolis week all around the NASCAR iRacing FedEx League. Back into 1 and 2 on green 4 on the bottom of Chandler. He will go around. Got 2 races at IRP, the iCar Series, and then, of course, the Truck Series tomorrow, and then, of course, the Cup Series at Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the Season 4 Brickyard 400. Of course, just 4 Cup Series regular season races remain. Of course, this week at Indianapolis, we get a Richmond next week. Then we head to Kansas and Daytona for the regular season finale. All right, still about a minute to go. We got, of course, 100 laps coming up tonight in Indianapolis Raceway Park at IRP. Here's Matthew White, of course, your winner, looking to go back-to-back. Starting second. He's currently now 4th here on the warm-up session. Of course, leads the points after 1 race at Watkins Glen last week. Of course, what an insane... We gotta talk about this even in real life. The NASCAR iRacing FedEx League Watkins Glen week was insane. Unbelievable, actually. We've never really seen it at the Glen. And then, of course, in real NASCAR, we had an insane truck race, an unbelievable Xfinity race, horrible crashes. Fortunately, Connor Zilish also had that big fall. We had, thank God, a calm Cup race. Then more issues throughout racing that week. I mean, it was just an insane, unfortunately, sometimes even tragic week of racing. But we head to tonight at IRP. Of course, IRP about 17 to 20 minutes away from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, so it's right around the corner. So fans don't have to go very far if you're going to travel here tonight and tomorrow to IRP, and then, of course, Thursday night at the Brickyard for the Season 4 Indianapolis Brickyard 400. All right, here we go. from Indianapolis Raceway Park. This is the NASCAR iRacing, or the iCar Pro Series, season number 2 race from IRP. 100 laps from the Indianapolis Raceway Park. Unfortunately, just 7 cars, but still, hopefully going to have some good action tonight. As we're dying in the booth here. Anyways, here we go. It's IRP, Indianapolis Raceway Park, Lucas Oil in Indianapolis Raceway Park to be exact. Kind of not completely flat through the corners, but definitely a very unique racetrack. If I honestly had to compare it to something, maybe it would be Milwaukee, but it's not really, you know, we don't race Milwaukee in the NASCAR iRacing FedEx League at least yet. But it's trying a whole lot of different tracks lately, and this is the newest track in the league for both iCar and trucks. As they will roll off pit road here, I believe it's going to be 2 to green, I think. It's not, then we'll learn from truck race tomorrow. Indianapolis Raceway Park, for the first time ever, cars going to be on the racetrack at IRP. Here in the NASCAR iRacing FedEx League will come to 1 to green this time by from Indianapolis. All right, Braden Hunsaker, Matthew White put identical times at the top of the board. Of course, Hunsaker gets the actual jump because he put that time down first. All right, here we go. Pace car is in. You got Braden Hunsaker, Matthew White, front row at IRP. Race number 2 of season number 2 for iCar at Indianapolis Raceway Park is off and underway. Side by side down into 1 and 2 they go. Matthew White around the outside of Hunsaker. They're going to be door to door down this back straightaway, almost making contact. Still side by side in the 3 and 4. They go leaning on each other. Who is going to lead the opening lap? Off turn number 4, they're going to head. Trying to side draft each other door to door down this front straightaway. It's going to be White across the line. He'll lead lap 1. Hunsaker, though, keeping it on the bottom, trying to slide up in front of that 18. Still keeping it door to door, side by side back there. 8 and 9 of Cameron Chandler and Bryce Benson. Good around the row. Contact back there. I believe Max DeFilippe was up the racetrack. Still side by side, though, for the race lead between the 2 front row sitters. Ooh, big moment there for Lindsay. Good run off corner exit for Matthew White in the 18 car. He's got to run around the outside, going to try to arc it high up, but Hunsaker back down low in the 16 has momentum. Big send by that 16. He'll clear Matthew White, but crossover coming for the 18 of White. Back to his inside. So they head back into 1 and 2. Another big slide job. Matthew White clear. Another crossover by Hunsaker. Back to the bottom of the racetrack. I talked to Cameron Chandler before this race went underway. He said the slide job was going to be big in tonight's race. Already seeing it with your top 2 leaders. Nearly making contact as they slide. We got a car spinning. That's Max DeFilippe around in the 12. He will get it fired back up. He should be going again. He's backwards, but he's still going. Will keep green. Benson is clear on Cameron Chandler for 3rd place. They head down the back stretch yet again. Still trying to slide up in front of each other. White around the outside, kind of trying to get good momentum to clear that 16, but he is still there. Coming to lap 6, they've been side by side this entire race. Now what will Bryce Benson be able to do? Single file in that 9 car. He's got 2 cars side by side. The lead ahead of him. They're not even leaning on each other. Now they are. Got a car spinning. Pace and Lindsay. He'll go around. He's caution's out. So the caution flag is out. First time tonight. Pace and Lindsay goes around. Well, let's ultimately take a look at what happened to bring out the first yellow of the night. So Lindsay there up on the outside. Ooh, just obviously all by himself. Gets loose off quarter exit. Spins out. goes for a spin. Breaking out the first caution flag of the day and IRP on lap 7. So right along with the 99 of Lindsay to see. Just see what happened to him ultimately. Bit of a connection issue, but do 3 and 4 listen. Obviously just on the gas too hard. Couldn't hang on to it. He goes around. It's actually helped Max DeFilippi. He'll get caught back up. Caution definitely going to help the 12 as Lindsay is pitting. DeFilippi in the back will stay out for now. But working caution flag number 1, Matthew White was scored your leader. They were, of course, side by side for the lead of this race between Matthew White and Braden Hunsicker. Ultimately, at the time of caution, Matthew White was your leader. So he will retain the lead and will restart in the front row with the 16, who was, of course, side by side with him that entire time. Lindsay's getting service. What a battle those two were having. Already at IRP. Alright, so we'll see. I don't think any of your leaders will pit here. Max DeFilippi surprisingly will stay out. Payson Lindsay still in the pits trying to... I don't think he has any damage, so just trying to maybe just sit there for some reason. I don't know why he's sitting there, but he is. Payson Lindsay now got to go a lap down, so I don't know why he's still sitting here in the pits. But that is what he's doing. Should be coming on 1 to green this time by. Alright. Of course, only 10 laps in IRP, 91 still remain. For race 2 of the iCar Pro Series season. Of course, your leader, Matthew White, won at Watkins Glen last week. We're going to go back-to-back wins to start the season. Cameron Chandler, he's currently running in 4th. Of course, didn't qualify the best for his standards. They will come to the shoes. Matthew White's actually going to choose the outside with Braden Hunsicker on his inside. Runner number 2 will be Benton and Chandler. Yeah, Cameron Chandler, your defending series champion, had the most wins last season, won over half the races. Of course, got put into the wall, had damage at Watkins Glen last week, and not running inside the top 3 right now at IRP. So can he rebound a bit and try to chase down that points lead for Matthew White, who's having an absolutely phenomenal start to his season. All right. Here we go, ready for the restart. Payson Lindsay is still on pit road. So not really sure why he's still there. Doesn't have any damage, so we'll have to see on that what continues. White, Hunsicker, front row for the restart. We are back underway in IRP. Side by side, back at a 1 and 2. Big send on the inside for Braden Hunsicker on Matthew White, but the 18's still going to keep momentum coming outside. Oh, White nearly in the wall, side by side, heading down this back straightaway. Benton following in line. Hunsicker on the bottom of the racetrack. He'll try to slide up in front of him. Your pole sitter down low. Hunsicker leads that lap. But Matthew White still trying to fight back on the outside lane, but Braden, he is clear on White. White's going to try to make a crossover. Can he get there? Yes, he can. Trying to get to his quarter panel. He is there as they head back on 3 and 4. He's going to slide him up the racetrack. White gets tight. Still keeps his nose down in there on the 16 of Hunsicker, but Hunsicker now clear for the race lead. And they're side by side between Benton and the 8 of Chandler. Chandler on the bottom looking to take 3rd place away. Here comes Matthew White though in the 18. Back down low. Ooh, car getting loose. Max DeFilippi again in the 12. White is back in line, 2nd place, and Braden Hunsicker is clear for the lead of this race now. Matthew White has pressure from the 8 of Cameron Chandler. What will that iCar be able to do? Is the 9 of Benton behind him as they head down this back straightaway in the 3 and 4. Riding along with the 8 of Cameron Chandler. Just chase down the 18 of Matthew White. We got the wall a little bit. Will that now allow the 9 of Benton to close out? Riding along with Benton now side by side almost. Here's the 8 of Chandler looking inside on the White. He gets a little bit loose. We're only 16 laps into IRP, I almost said Watkins Glen. To the bumper goes the 9 of Benton as they slide up yet again. Big send by the 18 of Matthew White. He is back down low. Once again, the battle for the race lead here at IRP. Ooh, Chandler is loose right in front of the 9 of Bryce Benson. He'll hang on to it and keep going in the right direction. Currently running in 3rd. White looking bottom on Braden Hunsicker. He's trying to get there to his quarter panel. Now here comes Cameron Chandler powering around the outside lane, trying to get there on Matthew White. White's going to clear him, though, and hold 2nd. Matthew White still trying to hold on to P2 and even try to chase down that 16 of Hunsicker. Of course, qualified on pole and is leading right now at IRP, coming to lap 20. Good race so far for Cameron Chandler. After the restart, made his way up to 3rd place and looking to battle for P2 with Matthew White. White up the racetrack, Hunsicker down low, or middle. You don't really run down low here at IRP too much. Braden Hunsicker actually looking for his first ever iCar win. Has never won in this series. Ooh, big loose moment there for the 18 of Matthew White, right ahead of the 8 of Cameron Chandler. These are the 2 most winningest drivers in the iCar Pro Series. White and Chandler behind a non-winner of Braden Hunsicker. Of course, behind them, Bryce Benson had a win last season at Rockingham. Here's the 8. Cameron Chandler going to push Matthew White up the racetrack. He'll try to get to his quarter panel. He's going to try to maybe side draft him down this back straight. If he can stay there, no, he can't. He'll have to drop back in line. Through 3 and 4 they go yet again. Braden Hunsicker still holding about a 3/10 lead over Matthew White. Running in a similar line as the 18. Same thing with Cameron Chandler and Bryce Benton. We've seen a lot of slide drops. That's really the way you're going to have to pass here at IRP tonight. And probably tomorrow night in the Truck Series as well. But definitely very different than the Cup Series you'll see on Thursday at the actual Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Ooh, a little bit tight there for the 18 of Matthew White. He'll pull down low. Trying to get a run here down this front straightaway. Lap 25 is underway. Had 1 caution flag so far. That was, of course, for Payson Lindsay. Going around, he's currently, I believe, not officially, yes, he is officially out of the race. Payson Lindsay has retired, didn't have any damage, so it must have been a mechanical issue. Here we go, side by side, maybe for 2nd place. Chandler trying to take that spot away from White. Also got to think about that whole fuel situation. Not 100% sure if they are good to the end. And how will tire wear affect this race? We've had 1 yellow flag, like I said already, but none of the leaders came to pit. Here comes Chandler. Gonna arch it around the outside lane to get a good run here. No cautions out. I believe Max DiFilippi has went around. Yes, he is. 2nd time tonight. The 12 has been sideways. 2nd yellow flag of the day is on lap 27. Let's take a look at what happened this time. So, of course, running all by himself, just like last time. He paced the leaders, but hits the wall on the front straightaway and wrecks down the front stretch. Not really sure how he did that. Right along with that. Better angle at this. Maybe if we can hear something. All right, riding along with Max DiFilippi. Gets loose off corner exit and hits the wall, and then keeps hitting and can't save it. And he goes around. 2nd time the 12 has been sideways. First caution he's caused, and I believe your leaders are all pitting. So assuming this will take you to the end of the race, so that answers our question. 4 fresh Goodyear tires, or general tires, I guess, for ARCA, or iCar, for all your leaders. Who's going to win the race off pit road? It's going to be Hunsicker. Second will be White. Third, Benson gains the spot on Chandler, who's now fourth. Hogan's going to be fifth. Rolling off, obviously, guaranteed P6 will be this 12 of Di Filippi. All right. Coming to lap 30 this time by. Still kind of early in this race. Braden Hunsicker has started on pole. He cleared for the race lead there on that second restart and has had it since. All right. Next, Di Filippi. Here he is coming back on the track. We'll come to the choose and leave this time by. He should be at least. All right. Of course, working caution flag number 2 at IRP. First time the NASCAR iRacing FedEx League will be at the Indianapolis Raceway Park. We're 30 laps into that adventure, and outside here is going to be Hunsicker. On the inside will be Matthew White. We saw the leader choose the outside last time, Matthew White, and he actually lost the lead ultimately on the first few laps. So we'll see what happens now with Braden Hunsicker, if White is going to be able to maybe slide up in front of him. All right, here we go for the restart. And we on lap 32 at Indianapolis Raceway Park, just about ready to get back underway. Pace car is in. Braden Hunsicker on the outside, Matthew White on the inside. Your two front row starters. So this is the original start of the race. We're back underway. Good restart for the outside lane, but Matthew White still fighting back down low. He is there. Hunsicker back around the outside, though. He's got to run down this back straight. He'll clear Matthew White. White, though, in the 18, got to keep his nose down in there to his quarter panel. He goes side by side behind him between Chandler and Benton for his third place. And Hunsicker clear for the lead in the race. We got a side-by-side battle for third again. Almost making contact as Chandler goes to the inside of the 9 of Benton. He's there, side by side once again, through 3 and 4. Up front, here comes the 18 of White. Back down low on Braden Hunsicker. For third again. Chandler trying to slide up in front of that 9 car, cannot do it. He's going to have to keep it on his door as they head down the front straightaway yet again. He is doing everything he can, almost clear. He might clear up this time. No, he won't. Benton still to the outside. Chandler going to push him wide. Benton trying to fight on the outside lane once again, and now Bryce Benton back to 4th. Cameron Chandler to 3rd place. But he did lose him maybe a few tenths, as now here is the 18 of Matthew White. Big send to the inside of the 16 of Hunsicker. Ooh, bit of a loose moment there for White. Braden, though, around the outside, got a good run. He's loose to his bumper once again, heading through 3 and 4. Good corner entry, mid and exit for the 18 of White. He is there on the 16 of Hunsicker. He runs all the way down low to the bottom of the racetrack. He goes. Good run, though, around the outside for Hunsicker. He'll clear Matthew White. White might give him the bumper here. He's going to keep it clean through 3 and 4. As they head back into 1 and 2, once again, Braden Hunsicker sliding up that racetrack. White, though, still on the bottom, trying to keep his nose down in there. Chandler has now joined the battle, making it a 3-car battle for the race lead here at IRB. White is going to move on here. Chandler might pressure him for P2. White's up the racetrack. Here's Chandler, like I said, to the inside. All 3 of these drivers running nose to tail. Kind of lap 40 this time by. White to his bumper, trying to get there yet again. White to the bottom of the racetrack. Hewlett goes side by side with the 16 of Hunsaker. Almost in the walls. That 16 cars ahead of 3 and 4. Around the outside, here comes Cameron Chandler trying to make something happen. Now you got the 18 of White. He is back down low. Fighting on the low side. White side by side with Hunsaker for the lead of this race. Big slide job through 1 and 2. Up the racetrack goes Matthew White. He is loose in the bottom. Hunsaker nearly in the wall. He gets sideways. Here comes White. Big send through 3 and 4. Where is Chandler going to be able to go? They are side by side down this front stretch, and Hunsaker clear again with Chandler back down low on Matthew White. Benson trying to get into this battle for 4th. He currently runs in the 4th position. Chandler up the racetrack. Benson's on his bumper. What a battle up front. Still, it's Brandon Hunsaker holding on to the lead of this race. We got a side-by-side action here. Down the back stretch, Chandler back in line on Matthew White. We've seen big slide jobs, but a lot of them haven't been able to be completed. And usually drivers running in second are just having to fall back. Really against the wall is that iCar of Cameron Chandler maybe trying something new to try to get around these guys ahead of him. He's there to the bumper of White. Matthew White still trying to hold on. Cameron Chandler down low. Hunsaker has led the most laps. He started on pole position, but he's got 3 hungry drivers right on his back bumper. White up the racetrack here, trying to find a bit of a different line. Ooh, watch the momentum coming maybe down this front straightaway for Matthew White. Where is he going to take it? Has to stay in line for now as they head back into 1 and 2. Chandler down low, trying to make something work on the bottom. White's looking. He's there to the inside on the 16 of Hunsaker. He'll slide up the racetrack, trying to get to his quarter panel yet again. Ooh, bit of a slide there for the 8 of Cameron Chandler. Chandler goes high. White goes down low. He's there to the quarter panel yet again, but still can't get any further alongside the 16. I believe Matthew White, I think he's faster. Same thing with Cameron Chandler, but cannot get to his inside to make a pass. Ooh, they both get a little bit loose off turn number 2. White will pressure him up the racetrack. Coming to halfway shortly again. White is low. Here he comes. Matthew White on the bottom of the racetrack, trying to go side by side. Still, oh, he's getting really sideways. Gets completely loose, able to hang on to it ahead of Cameron Chandler here. We'll get back to the bumper of the 16 of Hunsaker as they will come to lap 50, this time by halfway at IRP. White is to his bumper when he started using that. Obviously, Matthew White, a very respectable race car driver to Brandon Hunsaker, his teammate in the Cup Series. They both run up the racetrack through 3 and 4. Don't look now, but Cameron Chandler, oh, he's completely sideways down the front straightaway, almost went around. He's able to save it, of course. Here we go to the inside once again. Matthew White on the 16 of Hunsaker. Been a really good battle all day long for the lead of this race, but Matthew White once again going to try to keep it side by side, but once again slides really deep into the corner, but loses all his momentum through the mid section of the corners, and then of course off corner exit because he doesn't have that good run around the outside like Hunsaker does. White's going to go up the racetrack here. He might try to find something around the outside, but I don't think Hunsaker is going to give him room. White down low. He'll try to get there, but once again, who he might get there is going to be side by side with him down this front straightaway. He is there to the door, going to make it a big set. Nearly to the grass goes Matthew White. He is there on Braden Hunsaker, battling for the race lead again, but he'll slide up the racetrack into the wall. Goes Cameron Chandler. Maybe has damage. Big send for Matthew White on Hunsaker. Is Hunsaker maybe starting to fade? Matthew White gets loose. He'll try to slide back in line. He will, ahead of that iCar of Cameron Chandler. Now White's going to go to work yet again to that quarter panel, to his bumper. He's loose. He's almost crashing. Here comes Chandler for second place. My goodness, Matthew White was sideways. I thought he was for sure going around. Bryce Benton here in fourth, still trying to keep his nose down in there. It's the only action he'll see in the NASCAR iRacing FedEx League this week. Of course, being suspended for both trucks and cup after Watkins Glen. Bit of a slide there for Cameron Chandler as they'll head back into 1 and 2. Now White going to try to rekindle the magic he had before. That 0.3 of a second for the lead between him and Hunsaker. This top four have been nose to tail for a lot of this run. Here comes Chandler back down low on Matthew White. Gets back in line like a good boy as they head back into 3 and 4. He's there trying to get to his quarter panel. Ever so slightly in the wall goes Matthew White. Now they make contact. Here comes Chandler. Big send down to the inside for second place. Is Matthew White starting to struggle? Chandler side by side. He's to his door. Gonna maybe try to pull big slide job into 3 and 4 in the wall. Good goes the 18 car. Can't hit that too many times now. Hunsaker is pulling away into the wall once more as Matthew White will fall to third. Now he's got Bryce Benton to his inside. A big send by the 9 car. Oh, he almost turns him side by side down this back straightaway for third place. Now about 0.7 of a second is the lead for Hunsaker. Chandler to second, White back to third. He is struggling. May even lose third place. Oh, that 18 car is completely sideways. He has been wearing out his tires and maybe just not starting to bite anymore. Yeah, once again, loose down the front straightaway, back into 1 and 2 for the 18 of White, riding along with Bryce Benton. He is loose again. Everyone trying to work that throttle. That gap. In the wall goes Matthew White. I think Bryce Benton got a little bit as well. Chandler, the gap still about 0.7 of a second for the lead between him and Hunsaker. Big send down low for the 9 of Benton, trying to take third place away. Trying to get there to his inside for third. Obviously so hard to clear somebody when you're on the bottom off the corner exit. Close over there for Cameron Chandler. He is back to nearly a second for the lead between him and Hunsaker. 35 laps to go after starting on pole. He has, of course, led the most laps. He has been pretty much dominant. He's pulling away from Chandler. White loose again, ahead of the 9 of Benton. Benton ascend to the inside. He's gonna catch Matthew White off guard one of these times where he is sideways and might be able to take third away. Wants to do it as quickly as he possibly can, so he might have a chance to battle for second or possibly the lead if it comes to that on the longer run. That's trying to chase up the racetrack again. Matthew White, he is loose off corner exit, but still clearing Bryce Benton. Chandler loose again, so is Matthew White and Bryce Benton. Only one that's not completely sideways I've seen is, of course, the 16 of Hunsaker. Your leader. Into the wall goes Matthew White. Now Benton, he is there. To his door, he's going to get in the wall again. Benton trying to take third place away. He'll just try to slide down on the bottom of the racetrack. He'll slide up to his door. Ooh, White coming around the outside with momentum. Nearly gets to the wall. Benton is still towards quarter panel. Through 1 and 2 they go. White around the outside, he clears the 9 of Benton yet again, but here comes Bryce, back down low. Ooh, he almost chops him off, doesn't want to do that after what he did in Watkins Glen last week in the Cup race. And even Xfinity for that matter. Bryce Benton kind of reminds me of a Carson Hocevar, I guess you can say. Has a pretty similar resume as well. Really, really, really fast, but not a whole lot of wins to show for it, and not a whole lot of friends lately to show for it either. Between him and Matthew White. Oh, and the wall goes to the 9 to Benton. Currently running in fourth with that iCar where he has been for most of tonight's race. There is second place Cameron Chandler, and your leader still Braden Hunsaker by about a second over Chandler. Still this battle for third raging on between Matthew White and Bryce Benton. White has been so sideways off every corner exit. Rear tires on that 18 car are apparently gone. Oh, into the wall he goes big time there. He'll lose maybe a tenth or two. He gets loose again off corner exit. Benton trying to close up. They've dropped about 3.8 seconds on the leader. 26 laps to go at IRP. Second place, Chandler, and of course your race leader with 25 laps to go at Indianapolis Raceway Park. It's Braden Hunsaker. Still holding up third place is the 18 White, running in fourth, the 9 of Benton. How about fifth place? DeFilippi just got around Hogan. They're running about 13 seconds behind the leader. There is Donovan Homan back to sixth in that 88. Ooh, big slide there for your leader, Braden Hunsaker. He's got about nearly a second, 9/10 of a second this time by. Chandler was a little bit quicker. We'll try to run him down, but will it be enough for the 8 car of Cameron Chandler? Of course, Braden Hunsaker going for his first ever iCar Series win. As they head back on a 1 and 2 yet again for that 16 car. I mean, this is honestly a shocking stat, but before season number 4 got kicked underway, and even before Charlotte, Braden Hunsaker's only series that he's won not including Loffies, of course, in the NASCAR iRacing FedEx League, was the Cup Series. He's now won in trucks, and he's looking for an iCar win tonight. He's never won a special event, never even won an Xfinity race either. Hasn't gone to victory lane in ARCA, even the old SRX Series or IndyCar, which this man, the 9 of Bryce Benson, won this season at Daytona. Hunsaker looking for his first ever iCar Pro Series win. He's got 20 laps to go. Can Cameron Chandler try to run him down, but Braden Hunsaker, last few laps, he has been quicker, extending the gap to 1.1 seconds this time by. Hunsaker has been absolute dominant tonight. Starting on pole, leading by far the most laps so far. And he closed the deal. Running third, there is Matthew Williams, now really extended his gap over the 9 of Benton. There is Max DeFilippi extending his gap over Hogan back there on the 88. These two got to be careful not to be lap traffic. They could be, especially Donovan Hogan. There's, what, 18 to go. There is Hogan. Here is the 16 of He's heading down the back straightaway. Donovan Hogan is coming off turn number 4 now. And there's your leader, Hunsaker. They're definitely going to catch them. Maybe 10 or so to go. Will that make an effect in this race? There is White currently running in 3rd, and there's the 9 of Benton really falling off the pace, currently in 4th. Lap traffic right ahead. There's Donovan Hogan close to the 88, and Hunsaker and Chandler. 16 laps to go at IRP. They'll definitely get to Hogan. Now with 15 to go, I don't think they're going to get to DeFilippi. It'll be a tough task there. How much dirty air will Donovan Hogan give that 16 car of Hunsaker, and will Cameron Chandler be able to take advantage of that? Because he's been running equal pace, sometimes even faster, over the last 10 or so laps. In the lap traffic is that 16 of Hunsaker. Will now be forced to run the bottom. Ooh, lap traffic gonna maybe chop his nose off a little bit here. Makes him tight. He'll slide down low, side by side down this back straightaway. Maybe loses about 2 or so tenths. But of course, Cameron Chandler gonna still have to work with that lap traffic, but Hunsaker was the leader, so does the lap traffic make the job easier on Chandler here? 6 tenths now the gap. Chandler the inside of Hogan. Oh, no, gets caught up in a really bad spot here. He might lose all of it. They'll be side by side down this back straightaway. They almost make contact, trying to side draft each other. And yeah, back to now 7 tenths, possibly even 8 tenths of a second for Cameron Chandler, so that really didn't do a whole lot. Hogan back there now, 1 lap down. There is DeFilippi ahead of them. There's your leader, Hunsaker. 12 to go now. I don't know. I don't think he's going to get there. It's a possibility. I don't think it's going to happen. Here's Matthew White now being with the lap traffic. Donovan Hogan there in the 88. Of course, Matthew White started 2nd, currently running in 3rd. Won at Watkins Glen a week ago. Still would be a good points day, finishing in P3, but it would be close between him and Cameron Chandler for the points lead. Already in here, just 2 races in. Head to another short track next week at Richmond. 10 laps to go, coming on 9 to go. Braden Hunsaker still searching for that first ever iCar win. Oh, he's in the wall. Can't be too careful either. But he also can't overpush. Cameron Chandler, the all-time wins leader in the iCar Pro Series with 7. Looking for career win number 8 if he can get it tonight. Ooh, he's trying a bit of a different line through 1 and 2, all the way down low. Gains really good on the corner entry. Probably going to lose a lot of it on corner exit. Yes, he will. Back to about 5/10 of a second, but might have been a net gain by about a half-tenth or so. He might be catching Hunsaker by surprise if he can do that. Hunsaker a little bit loose there, 1 and 2. Big send by the 8 of Chandler. He's doing that while trying to keep momentum. He gets loose again. He had good momentum, but he's going to fall back to 5/10 of a second. If he can do this a few more times, he could get there. Trying a very different line. He's going for anything here. Maybe making Braden a little bit nervous with now 6 laps to go. Here's the lap car, the 612 of DeFilippi. Don't think we're going to get there. Might just miss it. Five to go. Braden Hunsaker still on the outside. Big send once again for Cameron Chandler. Just think that's really overheating his tires. Only had maybe a few shots of that. He's back to now 6/10, almost 7/10 of a second here on that 16. Obviously has to try something. Matthew White is actually trying to run these two down. Been really actually faster these last few laps, but probably too little too late for the driver of the 18. About a 3 to go this time by. If he can get there, he could get to his bumper or try to do something. Would probably be pretty dirty, but ooh, as he gets loose there of corner exit. I don't know if he would do that. Not really the type to make that kind of move. But Braden Hunsaker so dominant tonight. Led all but about 10 or 15 laps. He's got 2 laps to go to try to hold on to his first ever iCar win, but Cameron Chandler is not going away. He's back to the outside. Matthew White has closed up the gap to about 1.2 seconds. He is there. Just not going to have enough time to make anything happen. We're going to see the white flag this time by. It's 1 lap to go at IRP. Braden Hunsaker is so dominant tonight. Started on pole, trying to hold on to this win. Big send through 1 and 2 for Cameron Chandler. He's nearly in the wall. They'll head down this back straightaway one more time. Does Chandler have anything left? He's up to the outside. Probably not going to do it. Off turn number 4 goes Hunsaker. He's going to see the checkered flag for his first ever iCar Pro Series win. It happens at IRP. Second going to be Chandler. Coming home third is Matthew White. 4th place will be Bryce Benton in the 9. And there's your winner. First time winner. It's Braden Hunsaker. Gets the job done at IRP tonight. What a job well done by him. And he will burn it down. Matthew White should have the points lead ever so slightly over Cameron Chandler after tonight. Hunsaker, I believe, going to line up 3rd in points. Benson going to be 4th. Burning it down is the 16 of Braden Hunsaker. His first ever iCar win, but a long time coming. Honestly, he's kind of struggled in the iCar Pro Series overall. Obviously didn't have a win. Finished last season 3rd in points, but average finish of 8th. No wins on the year. As he's burning it down at Indianapolis Raceway Park, your race winner tonight. Hunsaker gets the job done. All right, so yeah, maybe post-race interviews coming up before we finish up at IRP. This one is done and dusted for the iCar Pro Series. It's Braden Hunsaker going the victory lane. All right. And Braden Hunsaker will be up first for a post-race interview from the Indianapolis Raceway Park. Braden, of course, dominant race. Like I said, started on pole, ended up leading all but 10 laps, led 90 tonight. Um, Matthew White led the other 10 laps, so they had a great battle to start the race, but ultimately there at the end, maybe last 50 or so laps, has had the lead pretty comfortably and ended up with the victory. And we got post-race interviews coming up from Indianapolis Raceway Park. Like I said, your first driver up will be the driver of the 16, Braden Hunsaker. Braden Hunsaker, surprisingly, this is your first ever iCar Pro Series win. It's an absolute dominant fashion here. You led all but 10 laps here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. So, what was your key to success to just dominate this race over drivers like Cameron Chandler and Matthew White?
Okay, well, first of all, Ethan, my first win was at Rockingham in the trucks, so nice try. But slider was definitely going to be a factor in the race. Saw a lot of it early in the race, and I thought it was just going to be back and forth for most of the race. But it got pretty spread out towards the middle to the end of the race. Um, the line at the end of the race was just to send it in and come back down the track and just. I guess that was the line I was working because I saw that Cameron and Matthew were doing it, so I just had to copy them and hold them off. But you know, I didn't expect to dominate most of this race because I thought it was gonna be back and forth. But I'm happy that we were in the lead most of it, and looking forward to the next race.
So, of course, next week for iCar is Richmond, but of course, coming up tomorrow night, IRP is the NASCAR iRacing FedEx Truck Series. So you won the last truck race at Charlotte. Are we going to be looking for some good speed for you guys tomorrow night? You currently enter fifth in points.
Um, uh, I mean, this is a pretty good track of mine, so hopefully we're pretty fast and towards the front of the pack for most of the race.
All right, Brandon. Of course, big congrats on your first ever iCar Pro Series win, at least. And we will see you coming up tomorrow at IRP for the trucks.
Thank you.
Next up, going to be Bryce Benton. He finished fourth. Bryce Benton, kind of a frustrating day overall, looked like for you guys. You were on the bumper of Matthew White, battling for third place, could never get there to his inside to pass him. Ultimately, White ended up driving away. You guys fell up there at the end of the race in the long run. So ultimately, what was kind of your struggles throughout this race, finishing fourth?
Yeah, it was just overall. There's just I feel like I didn't have the pace from the start, and yeah, I tried to manage my tires when I was behind. When I was just sitting in fourth on that long run to the end. I tried to manage my tires and it worked, but then when I tried to race White a ton, it just burned up the tires and yeah, it wouldn't turn from there, and yeah, it was pretty much the tires were done for us. So yeah, it's just it wasn't the best race, but yeah, it gave me a little bit of a learning experience to just let the moves come to me and not like get so aggressive with it. Which I also kind of learned from the Glen too, but yeah, I think that's just mainly my biggest issue is I raced White too hard and killed my tires, and that was about that. But yeah, we're just gonna have to try to move on from that and try to go get a better finish next week.
So, of course, unfortunately for you guys, you'll be featured in no more NASCAR iRacing FedEx League action for this week, but we had next week in Richmond for both iCar and the Cup Series. So, what's ultimately your thoughts on that? And both cars obviously very different.
Yeah, I think we could be good. I think Richmond's one of my stronger tracks. Definitely better than IRP. What sucks is about IRP is I was way faster on the old track and the before it got rescanned. But anyways, going back to Richmond, um, yeah, I think I'm pretty good at Richmond. Um, I remember last season in iCar I was even though there was like a really low field count, like kind of like today, I pretty much kind of dominated that race, but a late race caution kind of screwed me over. So yeah, that was unfortunate last season. I don't know how I'm gonna do in the Cup cars there. I think we could be fast. I haven't really done a ton of Cup Richmond. I haven't done it in a while at least. So we'll see how that goes. But I do feel pretty confident going into the iCar race, but don't really know how I'm gonna do for the Cup race next Thursday. So yeah, we'll see how that goes.
All right, Bryce. Well, still nice job coming home with 4th in IRP tonight for iCar, and we'll see you next week in Richmond.
Yep.
Max DeFilippe finished in 5th. Max DeFilippe, kind of a tough night all around. He spun out twice early in the race, but kept it off the wall both times, and you ultimately will end up in P5 for the finish. So just take me through some of the highs and lows of your day.
Yeah, definitely. Low was on like lap 3 or 4, and I just got dumped and drove through, so that was nice. And then pretty much just kind of stayed in the back from there. I didn't really pit because I didn't think my tires were that shot. Then I just stepped on it on lap, like, I don't know, spun out. And then from there, I just shot my tires. Really thought I had Bryce bent in there at the end. I ran him down by like 8 seconds, but great drive by him. Great race for everyone. Pretty clean for the most part. So that was about it for the day.
So of course tomorrow night is the Truck Series race here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. But yeah, so will we see you in that event?
Yes, I will be in that event, and hopefully don't have as much mistakes.
All right, Maxwell. Still nice job coming home top 5, and we'll see you tomorrow night in IRP for the trucks.
Yes, sir. Have a good night.
You too. All right. So that'll just about do it for the iCar Pro Series here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Ultimately, pretty fun day all around here at IRP. And that will wrap it up. So coming up tomorrow night, like I said a few times, is the NASCAR iRacing FedEx Truck Series here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. And then after that, of course, Thursday night, the NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series, season number 4, Brickyard 400, one of our crown jewel events. And it's going to be a big one, happening tomorrow. You don't want to miss, or happening on Thursday. You don't want to miss either actions tomorrow or on Thursday night for the Truck Series, and then, of course, the Cup Series. So that will do it for tonight at Indianapolis Raceway Park. On behalf of all officials, team owners, commentators, drivers, everybody that makes the NASCAR iRacing FedEx League what it is, we'll see you tomorrow night in the NASCAR iRacing FedEx Truck Series, so at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So good night from Indianapolis Raceway Park.